Hey guys, Jason here, and this is a special Sunday edition of our 30-day journey through the book of Mark. And I want to go right back to where we were yesterday in Mark chapter 6. I want to read from verse 30 all the way up into the story we read yesterday about Jesus feeding 5,000. And then I want to look at some verses right after, verse 45 and 46. So if you want to pause, you can go read that. But this is a really unique invitation that I think is really appropriate for us today. So here's what's happening in verse 30. Jesus had sent out his disciples to go and do ministry. And now they're coming back. And it says this, verse 30, the apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all that they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Just think about that for a second. Jesus looks at his disciples and says, hey, come away with me. Let's get some rest. And it's possible to not even be out doing that kind of work, but to live in a world like we live in now and be so busy with so much activity. Even if you're confined to your home right now, we can still find a new way to be busy, constantly on our phone, constantly connected. And this invitation where Jesus says, come with me to a quiet place and let me give you rest, is an invitation that we can hear from him every day to spend time alone with him. And then for those of you who practice a rhythm like Sabbath, there's an invitation for a regular weekly rhythm of an extended rest where you stop from the work and you spend 24 hours just enjoying the fact that God's holding the universe together and it's not all on you. But check out what happens. It's really interesting. So it says that he invites them, verse 32, so they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. So they're going by boat, it's just them, and they're trying to go to find a remote place. But verse 33 says, many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When Jesus landed and saw the large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. So see what happens here. They're saying, let's get away and get some rest. But then all of a sudden, the crowds see them leaving on the boat and they run along the other side of the sea and they meet them there. And even though Jesus wants to bring them to a restful place, he sees the crowd. He's like, we've got to do something. And that's when we got the story yesterday, the feeding of 5,000. If you missed yesterday, you should check that out. But then check out verse 45. So now he's fed them. He's taught to them. And check it out, verse 45. Immediately, Jesus made his disciples get in the boat and go ahead of them to Bethsaida while he dismissed the crowd. So he says to them, guys, leave it to me. I'll dismiss the crowd. You guys go ahead. So he's sending them off. But then it says this, 46. After leaving them, he went up on a mountainside to pray. Verse 47 said, when evening came, the boat was in the middle of the lake and he was alone on land. And so what we see here is Jesus, and we're going to see this again and again in the book of Mark. Jesus leaves the crowd, even leads his disciples to go to be alone, to pray and be with his heavenly Father. And solitude is something that I think a lot of us are afraid of. And I know that we might not say it like that, like we're afraid of solitude. But solitude is something that I think we really struggle with as a culture and as individuals. And there's a gift in solitude of being alone with our thoughts and ourselves and alone with the Lord, where there's work that God can do in that place in our lives. And I think this has to be received as an invitation for all of us. We need, in order to do the work that God's invited us to and to live the life of joy and abundance that he's invited us to have regular rhythms of rest and retreat with our Heavenly Father. That often can include prayer and meditation and Bible reading. And it can look different for different people. But I want us to hear this invitation where he says, I see that you're tired. Come, let's get away to a solitary place. And I think our response is to say yes. And saying yes might look like turning off our phone. Saying yes might look like carving out a moment in our day. Saying yes might even look like taking a Sabbath once a week. Let me end with one more teaching from Jesus from the book of Matthew. And this is Matthew 11, 28 and 30. And this is the words of Jesus. Let me end with this as a blessing for you. It says this, are you tired, worn out, burnt out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Bless you guys.